At 25 years of age, Grant Cardone was headed for death. He had no money, was barely able to keep his job, and his severe drug habit had gotten him beat to within an inch of his life. When he enrolled in a rehabilitation program, his counselor advised him to give up on his dreams of making it big and to concentrate only on living a drug-free life and nothing else. But Cardone said no. He said no to settling for just making it. He said no to giving up on obsessing about his dreams of making it big. Instead, he decided to refocus, to redouble his efforts and refocus his obsession on something worthy. He went back to his job at the car dealership and threw himself into sales, even though he didn't even like selling cars. He taught himself to like it. He taught himself sales. He became passionate about it. And 3 years later, Cardone ended up in the top 1% of salespeople in the entire auto industry. And he was obsessed with going bigger. Today, Cardone is one of the most famous motivational speakers in America, and he has no plans on stopping. He has no plans to stop growing his brand until 7 billion people know his name. He is absolutely obsessed with success, and he wants you to become obsessed as well. This book sets out to destroy the stigma that our society has on the word obsession. For Cardone, obsession was what saved his life, and now he wants to share it with the world. Here's what you'll learn about in this book summary: how to figure out your purpose and align it with your obsessions and your goals, how to take control over every sector of your life and make every action part of achieving your goals. And finally, we'll talk about how to surround yourself with only the best and brightest people, the most encouraging individuals, and to avoid the naysayers, the dream killers, and the doubters in your life. Crucial quotes. Quote, "The obsessed are the industry builders, disruptors, titans, game changers, and living legends others admire and wish to emulate. The obsessed don't just make the world go round. They make the world worth living in." Quote, "If you don't have haters, you are not obsessed. If you don't collect haters, you are doing nothing. If you don't have haters, you are a threat to no one. A guaranteed indication that you are onto something, and making things happen is getting and having haters." Quote, "Maybe you are just about the money at one point in your life. Well, good. Get that right. Or maybe you don't care about money and just want to help people. Then get that right. Maybe you want to do it for self-respect or for respect in a community. Then accomplish that in a massive way. Or you could decide to feed them all and compromise nothing. Being obsessed with your sense of purpose across all the parts of your life will allow you to accomplish all the things you desire and become aware of those things maybe you couldn't see before." Tweetable summary: the most successful people in the world share one thing in common. They allowed themselves to be obsessed with achieving their goals. Big idea number 1. Give yourself permission to become obsessed. Quote, "The obsessed embrace the fact that they, and only they, are responsible for their success." Unquote. Cardone explains that the surest sign that you're ready to become obsessed is a deep frustration with settling for average and with the people around you who are encouraging you to settle. When it comes down to it, you and only you are the one who gets to choose whether you're going to settle for less or whether you're going to become obsessed with wanting more out of life. It's time to give yourself permission to become obsessed. And your first task is to tell yourself now and repeatedly that you really can have it all, that you can have it all. Success is the attainment of potential, and your potential will expand, and it will reveal itself to be bigger than you ever dreamed as long as you keep pushing yourself to achieve more. Obsession does not allow for satisfaction or complacency. You will have to deal with the fact that you will always be uncomfortable, and that's okay. And when the naysayers in your life try to convince you to quit, remind yourself that they are not really talking to you. They're talking to their past selves, the selves that quit. And now they're desperately trying to rationalize their own failure by trying to bring you down to their level. Millions of people tell themselves that they don't need to have it all, that they just need to have enough. But what happens is when they reach their mediocre goals, they realize that it's just not enough. They're stuck working long hours at something they're not passionate about, and they have to beg and scrape for every minute of free time to spend with their family and their friends. You don't want to be that, do you? So give yourself permission to break free from the pack and become obsessed. Quit worrying that the people in your life will think you're crazy and just embrace the crazy. Embrace it. You are the only person in the world who truly knows what you want, and you are the only person in the world who can give you what you want. So go after it and go get what you want. Become obsessed. Big idea number 2. Figure out your purpose and tie it to your obsessions. Quote, once you know what your purpose is at this time, you can stop your little acts of denial and self-sabotage that are keeping you from going forward. Unquote. How do you figure out what's worth being obsessed with? Now, not every task that you'll have to perform is going to be right up your alley, of course. Becoming massively successful involves massive amounts of hard work and massive amounts of struggle. Now, in order to identify the obsessions that are worth your time, you first have to find your purpose. Now, finding your purpose involves asking yourself several specific questions and answering them honestly. Here are some of the most powerful questions that Grant recommends that you answer for yourself. Ideally, you want to do this inside of a journal or your note-taking device of choice. Here they are. What excites me right now? That's the first question you want to ask yourself. Write down the answer. Next question. What do I want to do that causes me to forget to eat? What do I get so excited about that I forget to eat while I'm doing it? Next question. What am I willing to do for no money? Next question. What can I do better than anyone? Next question. What do I want to be remembered for? Ask yourself those questions. Play this back whenever you get a chance and when you have a moment to yourself and you can actually journal it or take some notes on these questions and answer them. Give yourself some alone time to really think about them and answer them and come back to them over and over and over again. Now, the questions and these answers to these questions will give you answers about which obsessions are worth your time and which ones you can just give up on and not have to worry about. And also keep in mind that these exercises are certainly not meant to be just done once and forgotten. You've got to constantly be redefining who you are and what you want based on how you grow and change as a person. So keep that in mind. Now, Cardone also describes this as rebooting your operating system. One of the ways that he suggests to refresh your obsessions is to make a daily practice of writing down your goals. Write your goals every day. Make your goals enormous. Goals that everyone else will call unattainable. Because, hey, if you're going to dream, you might as well dream big, right? Really big. Be ambitious. And remember, write down your goals every day. It'll bring your mind closer to the actions you need to take. It'll bring you new ideas into your life. And it'll inspire you to continue forward and continue reaching for those big, ambitious goals that you set for yourself. Big idea number 3. Feed your obsessions and starve your doubts. Quote, stay focused on what allows you and your business to grow and invest no time, energy, or resources into those things and people that don't. Unquote. If you don't feed what Cardone describes as your beasts, then your obsession will falter, your goals will fester, and you will lose all sense of purpose. This means waking up every day ready to set higher goals, to do more, and to surround yourself with people who are doing the same thing. You want to banish words like impossible from your vocabulary. Integrate your goals into every moment of your life. Eat, sleep, and breathe your goals. That is what it means to be truly obsessed. Keep your eyes locked on the future rather than dwelling on the mistakes and disappointments of your past. When Grant was starting out, he set himself a goal of buying 20 apartments. Today, he owns almost 5,000 units that are worth $400 million. Now, he sets himself a goal of owning 40,000 living units with a $4 billion real estate fund. He already achieved what most people would call impossible, so now he chooses to reach for the impossible yet again, making the impossible possible. Feed your beasts by constantly learning about your industry. Feed your economic beasts by getting your money right and then putting it to work for you in investments. And finally, feed your social beasts by surrounding yourself with the most successful and most encouraging people that you can find. The alternative is to let the naysayers, to let the doubters into your life. And you don't want to do that. Doubt is the killer of dreams. It sabotages your goals. Everywhere you go, you will encounter doubt. And you will encounter people who make themselves feel better by making you doubt. Never, ever take advice from a doubter. Only take advice from people who are as successful as you want to be. Again, only take advice from people who are as successful as you want to be. People that inspire you. People that you aspire to become like. Bring your friends and family on board, if you can, by letting them know that you have given yourself permission to be obsessed and that you will not tolerate their doubt in your life. Oftentimes, the people who love you the most end up becoming your biggest naysayers because they don't want you to get hurt. They don't want to see you get hurt. So you have to let them know that you are prepared, that you're prepared to go all in despite the risks. And they can either encourage you or get out of your way. Big idea number 4, dominate every sector of your life. Quote, you can't dominate your business or life. Hell, you can't even create a corporate or family culture unless you dominate your own mindset. Unquote. Dominating yourself means taking control of your attitude, your ambition, your energy, and your confidence, and making it all work for you. It means not letting your problems and fears drive you, but instead being driven by your hopes and your goals. It means weeding out the behaviors that harm you or set you back. Behaviors like smoking, drinking, gambling, etc. Your time is precious, and you need to meticulously plot out your life in order to capitalize on what little time you have. Cardone boasts that he actually does not even manage time, he creates it, quote unquote. He makes every moment count, double for him in his life by combining date nights with business meetings and taking his children to the gym while he works out. He says that blank space on his calendar is destructive and useless. Now, in order to dominate your finances, you have to set yourself up with a system of principles, procedures, and mantras or mottos when it comes to your money. It means allowing yourself to discuss money with others and not be shy about your desire to make more in order to get yourself closer to your goals and ambitions. Dominating your area of expertise means telling yourself that you are the best of the best, even if you're not quite there yet. It means dominating your brand by never being ashamed to promote yourself. Dominating your life means dominating every sector and watching them all come together to feed your obsessions and your purpose. Big idea number 5. Make sales your top priority. Quote, sales is not a department, a career, or someone's job. Sales is the god of any business. Unquote. The most important line on the financial statements of every company is the revenue line. While research, production, and management are all important to your business, sales is the lifeblood. Doesn't matter if you like sales or not. You need sales to survive. In order to become obsessed with sales, become obsessed with your product. Become obsessed with the need to see your product in the hands of everyone out there. Follow sales pitches all the way through and demand the same of anyone working for you. Too many sales transactions go unclosed simply because the salesman or woman was too timid to actually walk the process all the way through from pitch to proposal to final offer. According to Cardone, this means demanding that your salespeople meet their quotas and punishing those that don't and rewarding those that do. Now, this might not work for everybody, by the way, and there's scientific research that tells us that punishments and rewards don't necessarily motivate. But again, this is Grant Cardone's advice. So again, going back to this big idea, it means having a sales meeting when it comes to obsessing about sales and why that's so important, why sales are the lifeblood of your business. Got to have sales meetings every day to get your team pumped up and ready to dominate the market that day. It means setting yourself up as an example every single day and inspiring others on your team, in your business, within your company to do the same. Big idea number 6, be dangerous. Quote, avoiding danger makes sense only if you want to make sense. That is, CENTS. So again, avoiding danger makes sense only if you want to make sense. The only way to reduce risk is to take risk. Unquote. Comfort is the biggest threat of the obsessed. Complacency is a curse. There's no such thing as playing it safe, because as soon as you think you're safe, you'll have the rug yanked out from right under you. Cardone advocates moving to a new city when you find yourself too comfortable with your living situation. You can't grow your network if you never meet new people or interact with different communities. Do the things that absolutely terrify you and then learn from your triumphs and your mistakes. Don't worry about being unpopular. Worry about disappointing yourself. And take risks with your investments and then follow through in order to grow your money. Also, quit following the mantra, under-promise and over-deliver. Grant tells us that you should never be underselling yourself at any point. Instead, over-promise and then let that fuel you to over-deliver. When you make giant claims, you'll get people excited. You'll get them pumped up. You get them to root for you and you get them to become as obsessed as you are. You will appear to be the most confident person in the room when you do this, and eventually you will become the most confident one. Big idea number 7, hire the best and get them obsessed. Quote, if you are doing great things, other people who want to do great things will find you and want to work for you. Unquote. You cannot be the best if you do not surround yourself with the best. You can't maintain obsession unless the people you work with share in your obsession. And your business will not thrive if your employees are not willing to do anything to see that business succeed. This means opening the doors of your business to strangers. That can be scary, but it's a good thing. It allows you to continue growing. Many business owners refuse to let anyone work for them because they don't believe anyone can do work better than they can. And these business owners burn out or drop out. The truth is that businesses are made out of people, and you need more voices to contribute to your cause. This doesn't mean you should settle for anything less than the best, by the way. And that means that the hiring process is occasionally going to be a nightmare. And you have to go through those massive amounts of people. You have to funnel through those people, do the interviews, do the work to find the right few to work with. Luckily, if your business is thriving and you are demonstrative about your obsession, you'll often draw the right people to you. Always be on the lookout for new employees, even when you don't currently have open positions. Know exactly what you're looking for. Compose a list of qualities of the ideal employee and use it to evaluate everyone you meet. Then, when you have your team, be sure to pump them up, get them inspired, Try to motivate them, reward excellent performance, hold staff meetings every day, constantly enforce the company culture that you want to see. Don't feel ashamed of wanting your office to reflect your beliefs and attitudes. Build the culture you know is nurturing and watch your team mold themselves into it. Big idea number 8, take control. Quote, every day you and I are given the opportunity to grab the reins and ride the beast, to control our own environment. Unquote. Cardone is absolutely 100% unapologetic of being a control freak, and he doesn't want you to apologize about it either. People who dislike control are people who have either never had it or have misused it in the past. Control is not always the same as leadership, by the way. When things go wrong, a leader might bear the consequences, but the person in control gets the answers. Exerting control takes courage and confidence. You have to believe that you are worthy of that control and know in your heart that you are wielding it with integrity and purpose. If you refuse to take control, you will allow yourself to be controlled. Someone is always going to have the control, so you might as well make it yourself. People refuse control because they fear the responsibility that it brings. They'd rather have someone else to blame if things go wrong. Don't wait for someone to give you control. Constantly look for opportunities and seize them. Big idea number 9, refuse to quit. Quote, the difference between success and failure is staying in the game when others throw in the towel. Unquote. You are not going to achieve massive success the first time around. This is pretty much a guaranteed fact of life. And almost everyone who is massively successful has stories about times that they failed and times that they thought about quitting. Walt Disney, Lady Gaga, Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, and thousands more were rejected and discouraged again and again and again, but they didn't quit. If they had, we wouldn't know their names. We don't know the names of quitters because they fade into obscurity. Millions of quitters have faded into obscurity. Quitting is the only surefire way to failure. Cardone describes wanting to quit every day for 2 years after starting his business. But he dug deep. He dug in his heels, prayed for signs, followed the signs that came his way, and after a long, brutal struggle, he started to replace disappointments with achievements. Now, one enemy of persistence that we can all learn to avoid is the perfectionist trap. Now, when you become obsessed with making something perfect the first time around, you wait too long, you delay, and eventually you give up. Instead, Cardone counsels to just get it done, then get it right. Make the product, write the book, and then make updates and edits afterward. Persistence will bring perfection over time. Closing notes. The key takeaway from Be Obsessed or Be Average is this. There are always going to be people telling you that obsession is a bad thing, but they are not really talking to you. They are trying to convince themselves that it is not so bad to be average. So ignore them. Ignore them and commit yourself to your purpose and let your obsessions run wild. Here's a few actionable insights from the book. First, let's talk about daily goal practice. Every day, physically write out a list of your goals. Goals are something you seek to achieve, either in the long term or in the short term. Cardone recommends phrasing your goals as if you have already achieved them. So write your goals every day. Make it a practice for yourself, either in the beginning of the day or at the end of the day or both. Next, every month, sit down with your list of goals and evaluate them. Evaluate them against your potential. If your potential has grown, grow your goals to match it. For example, if your goal was to make $1 million and you achieve that, set your new goal at $5 million or more. And finally, sit down with your friends and your family and tell them about your obsession. Invite them to join you on your journey and make it clear that you will not tolerate naysaying. Be loving, but be firm. be obsessed, or be average.